Speaking of,
and I want to bring up something, okay?
Yeah.
Because you're promoting Kleinreich this week. I don't know what your problem is, but let's talk about Impact Wrestling, and let's talk about two things that happened this last week: the debut of Killer Cross, and let's also talk about the angle with LAX that closed the show.
let's talk.
Did you see what happened?
I saw
first
it.
of all, Cross. I like the way they're booking Cross because he just basically just killed the guy, and they're making him look like a monster, which I like. Also, Conan. Let me ask you a question: who is the King guy?
Eddie Kingston.
Eddie Kingston?
Yeah.
And what's his name? Just King? Is that his? So what? Let me catch me up on that, on how that angle was played out. How did that angle play? So he was like, you were away for a couple weeks or something.
No,
Like, what were
no. All of a sudden, I didn't appear on Impact, and they were looking for me, and they were making calls like, "Where is he?" and shit. And then all of a sudden, King showed up, who's supposed to be somebody that works within the LAX organization, but he kind of like runs New York. So he was like, "Yeah, Conan's in the hospital, and I'm gonna take over till he gets out." So that's how that. Yeah. And so since he's, go ahead.
Well, okay, keep going. Tell me the angle.
So basically, in the angle, him and LAX, they go back. They're all from New York. They all know him. He's kind of like supposed to be kind of like one of my the guy that runs New York for LAX, basically. So you know, they're believing everything he's telling him, and they kind of go on this losing streak because I'm not there. And and then when the King shows up, you know, they go back on a winning streak. The money starts coming back up. You know. The bitches are coming around and shit, and like LAX is kind of like LAX again, but he's kind of taken over, and then they win the tag titles, right? Mm-hmm. So Diamante, who's the other girl in the group, she's like, "Man, I don't know about King, you know, there's something doesn't feel right," and they're like, "Man, quit hating," you know. She's, "Yeah, maybe I'm tripping, it's all good." So everybody's kind of bought into King's bullshit, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I just show up in the clubhouse. And I tell everybody to leave, that me and him have to have a word together, you know. And I basically call him out. I go, "I don't got proof yet, but I know you're behind this, you know." And so we have like 1 or 2 weeks of tension between me and him, where the LAX guys have believed what in the King, and they're like, "Hey man, don't be so rough on him. You have no proof." And then I go, "No, I got proof. And next week I'm going to give you the proof." And when I go the next week to give him the proof, he attacks me with the original LAX.
Yeah, I saw that. They beat you down. I like that. That was a good angle. I like seeing you beat down. What I got a good idea for this angle.
Right.
Okay, is that they're New York, right? They're all Yankees fans, and they just get really tired of you always talking about the Red Sox. Right. And they just beat your piss out of you and stuff. Everything. I think that should be the angle. You know, and then maybe they'll paint an NY on you, like the NWO.
Right.
Paint an NY on you, like New York Yankees. You know, and then you have to go and dump you on the streets of Boston. So, like, you're naked on the streets of Boston with just your underwear and NYI.
Wait,
people think you're a Yankee fan. And they take all his clothes off except for his underwear, and they dump him in the streets. So Conan's passed out with an NYY painted on him, and the Boston people, they think he's a Yankee fan, and they end up peeing on him on the streets.
Oh,
that's how I would put that angle.
Jesus.
And we wonder why DI wasn't invited back to book for the new Impact.
Yeah, one of life's mysteries, as is he.